Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome out here to the new Smyrna Speedway for round number 4 for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series. And we want to thank ZooFab Garage for being the proud title sponsor of the 2024 ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series. And ZooFab is located in Tennessee. It is a one-stop shop for fabrication and power on your performance vehicle, track car, or street car. Find them on Facebook or contact them today to start your next project. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Bellevue, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow them on their Facebook page to see all their amazing products and how to place an order. RC2 Promotions, Wizards Designs, J&G Hardwood Flooring, and Dulaweiser Fast Time Award, which is right now we are in there and we want to bring into the booth after a 1-week hiatus. If we bring back Mr. Kelly Dahl. Kelly, thank you for coming out here to New Smyrna. I know it really had to twist your arm to get down here to a very sunny and warm Florida weather.
Yeah, but I am excited to be here, especially seeing the layout of this track. I mean, New Smyrna is a track that I am not familiar with, really. I don't think I've even called a race here before, so I'm looking forward to it. But seeing these long straightaways should give a lot of opportunities for these drivers to make some passes. And then you've got the fairly steep banking in the corners that they'll be able to carry a lot of speed around. And speaking of that, we have got a few fast drivers already out there on the track. Currently, Guillaume Fortin holding that Dulaweiser pole award for the time being with a 20.416. A few more drivers are still out on the racetrack yet to take a time. We'll see if anyone can knock out that 13 QC car.
Right now, we got the 03 of Dante Curtis up on the racetrack looking to complete his qualifying time. He is he's a little loose off of turn number 4 and brings it to a stop, so he'll reset and get going as we look at today's information for tonight's race number 4 of 13. It's the Fun Coast 125 here at New Smyrna Speedway, just a tick underneath the half mile, Kelly. 125 laps or 60 miles, and it's going to be a great race. Right now, Dante Curtis holds the track record at a 19.46, I believe it was. 640, 19.640. So we'll have to wait and see. If right now we're at a 20.4. So I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that the track record is probably pretty safe.
Yeah, it is a fairly hot track today, as these guys are going to be struggling with these cars, especially trying to keep the rubber underneath them nice and cool. As Dante Curtis goes to the top of the board, though, 20.358, so he will move ahead of Guillaume Fortin, who is just barely ahead of Dustin Shepard. And now, actually, we have another driver moving themselves up into second. Mike Alexander puts up a 20.380.
Yeah, Alexander putting up that time, and he's got one more lap to go in the books. The other one out there, the 16, DJ Weltmeyer. We'll switch our cameras over to him after Alexander comes by for lap number 2. It's a little bit slower. Weltmeyer going to go into that number 8 spot, and that's a beautifully looking race car. It's something slick. It's simple, but I like it. That white and blue, very sharp looking race car out there right now for Weltmeyer. He is trying to lock himself into tonight's RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw. Lap number 2 is going to be slower, so lap number 1 a bit better at a 20.54. So the Dulaweiser Award going to go to our good friends here. The Dulaweiser Fast Time Award looks like it's going to go to Dante Curtis here tonight with a fast time of 20.35. And Dulaweiser is proudly owned by Matt Dula and located in Columbus, Ohio. Cold brews, good times, political conversations, and of course the drink of choice at the races. Dulaweiser is the official drink of the NSRL. Dulaweiser asks you all drivers to please drink responsibly. So Dante Curtis going to set that pole. He'll get first draw this week. If you were with us 1 week ago, you know Dante Curtis could not partake in the draw. And I believe we have a last chance qualifier that we are going to skip right on over, Kelly. So while we do that, let's take a look at the current point standings as they come in here to tonight. This is what your points look like after last week's race at Langley. Dante Curtis at the top of the points heap, only 7 points over Ryan Johnson. Dustin Shepard sits in 3rd spot. Bryan Hacker falls to 4th. And last week's winner, Scott Austin, sits 5th in the standings. Mike Alexander, Josh Nelms, Travis Hoffler, Justin Grosser, and Randy Nichols rounding out your top 10. And you see those drivers that are receiving penalties down there. Well, none of them are in server here tonight. So their penalties will be held on for 1 week's time. But as we get ready to go here tonight with tonight's racing activities, we are going to be ever so slowly moving in towards our redraw, which Kelly is herding them, and herding race car drivers is like herding cats. So you're doing a good job down there, Kelly.
I think I've got him in line here.
You got him down there?
Oh. I think we've got it sorted. We're getting there. We are 4 races in on the season. We're starting to figure out a method to this madness. But I think we are ready to go for our redraw. Figure out where these guys are actually going to be starting on this race.
Yeah, we're going to start with the number 03 of Dante Curtis. And Dante's going to come into the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw. Last week, you were unable to do that because you won 2 weeks ago. Now, coming in here and grabbing the Dolo-Weisner Pole Award once again this season. Your track record safe. Track looking really greasy out there. What can we expect for racing here this afternoon?
Yeah, it's really hot. All these races have been really hot, which is good. It's slippery. It's slippery for everybody. So, depending on how long a run we get on green flag, this thing may widen out, may not. Don't know.
Well, you get the first luck of the draw here. All the numbers, well, obviously, are still available. What number would you like here tonight for the redraw?
I'm going to take 7.
Going to take number 7. So 7 comes off the board, and it is going to be P8 for the 03 of Dante Curtis. And going to have to come from the outside of row number 4, but 125 laps. Can you get up there?
Yeah, this top side should roll here, so we'll see how it goes and try and get around these guys.
Well, we hope your race goes better than the luck of the redraw here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Dante Curtis, your Dolo-Weisner Pole Award recipient, and he will start in that 8th spot. And, well, everybody that is in line probably just took a big breath of relief there as the 1 spot still available, Kelly.
Yeah, but we're going to move on now to Mike Alexander. Mike, the 7 was taken, and that was 8th place for Dante Curtis. So you have 1 through 6, and then 8 still up on the board. What would you like to take?
Well, I was going to take 7, so I'm pretty thankful that Dante took that. But let's go with 1 and hope that it's number 1.
All right, number 1 rolling off, and it's going to be P number 3 for you, Mike. Mike, P number 3 inside row number 2.
Hey. Al, you sent me the wrong list.
I did?
Yeah, I had number 1 as something else.
No, number 3.
P3?
Yes.
All right.
I had you all messed up, didn't I, Kelly?
You apparently did. All right, so P3, Mike Alexander. Mike, what are you expecting from this track here tonight?
I'm not really sure what to expect. I don't like it when it's hot. It's too greasy, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of take things as they come at me here.
All right, well, we will see how you get along there from P number 3, and good luck to you tonight. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again at the end of the night.
Appreciate it.
All right, so that was Mike Alexander. He's qualified 2nd. He'll be rolling off P3, so let's move on to our next driver now. That'll be the driver of the 13 machine, Guillaume Fortin. Guillaume, both 1 and 8 have been taken. Everything else is up to you. What would you like?
I'll take my famous number 3.
Number 3 for Guillaume. I had to do it, Guillaume. It's going to be P4.
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
Second attempt here in the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series this season, and making it, I believe, in the redraw each time. How's the car feeling? How's it looking for here tonight?
Pretty good. Still missing a little bit of practice in those cars, but hopefully I can be up front at the end when everything counts for the win. So I'm just here for the win tonight. So hopefully I'll get that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of 125 laps.
Thank you. Hopefully.
All right, that was Guillaume Fortin in spot number 4. Now we're going to take and move down to the driver of that number 89 of Dustin Shepard, and Shepard putting in a fast time, and he is still within a 10th of the pole sitter's time, so a very fast hot rod underneath you this week, Dustin. Last week you made the RC2 Promotions redraw, and we won't talk about last week, but how we feeling tonight?
Pretty good. Like I said, just if I can keep pace on the long runs. I said I've always struggled on super long runs, so we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I'm fast. 50 laps or shorter. I can hang with just about anybody. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we got the numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, or 8 left out there.
Let's go 8.
Let's go number 8. And that is going to be spot number 7. So, going to start. You're going to have Dante Curtis to your right wing. Got some fast hot rods starting in that 4th and final redraw row.
Yes, sir.
Well, we look forward to see what you can do out there. Good luck, the best of luck to you here tonight, and thank you for your time and chatting with us.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Dustin Shepard.
All right, so we're going to get our next driver up here then. That's going to be Bryan Hacker. Bryan, you got a few numbers still up on the board. We got 2, 4, 5, and 6 left for you.
Is the pole still there?
The pole is still up for grabs.
Then it's got to be behind number 2.
Number 2. Listen, you better go down to the local convenience store and buy yourself a lottery ticket tonight.
So I'm going to need it. But after last week, I'll need it.
Well, the good news is we're at New Smyrna. That's one of your favorite tracks, I was told.
That is correct. Yeah, I do like this track. It is hard to pass, so starting up front is going to be important, but we'll see how pit strategy plays out.
And you got that choose cone as well there, sponsored by Austin Designs. And, well, the number 2 is going to be leading them to the field. Hopefully, what's it going to take to keep them up there?
Consistency, not overdriving it, trying to maintain our stuff while staying out front, which is always the challenge. It's not easy.
All right, well, good luck to you tonight, Bryan, and we look forward to seeing what you can do.
Thanks, guys.
All right, then let's move along here to the driver of the number 12, Rodney Huntoon. Rodney, how are you feeling coming into tonight?
Confused.
Why is that?
I usually don't run very well at this track.
Well, you qualified 6th, and we've got a few good starting spots still left up on the board. So the numbers you can choose from are 4, 5, and 6.
I will go with number 4.
Number 4 coming off the board, and it is going to be P number 5 for you, Rodney. So one spot better than what you qualified in the inside row. You like it or dislike it?
I have no idea. I usually don't run well here, so we'll take it. It's on the inside. I might be able to run a little bit.
All right, Rodney, well, thanks for coming and talking to us. Hopefully we will hear from you later on tonight.
Thank you.
That was Rodney Huntoon, driver the number 12, who qualified 6th, but we're rolling off in 5th. But let's move along here. We got 2 more left to go. So that means next up, Philip Martin, driver of the 46 car. It's our 7th place qualifier. Philip, how are you feeling about tonight's race?
I think I'm okay. I do like New Smyrna. I'm happy with the kind of starting up front towards the front starting spot. I haven't had one in a while, so I'll take it.
Well, there is one of the front row starting spots still up for grabs. That is P2 and P6 are both available. So, you got your choice for numbers is 5 or 6.
That's tricky. We'll go 6.
All right, number 6 is P number 6, outside third row.
Perfect. I had a 50-50 shot. Thanks, guys.
Now, that is Philip Martin. Hopefully, we'll be hearing from him later on tonight. But we're going to move on now to our last driver, DJ Weltmeyer. DJ, there's only one number up on the board. There's only one thing we're going to be giving you. And if people have been paying attention to what we've been giving away, they can maybe make a guess on what position that you're going to be rolling off in. But Al, why don't you do the honors? What position is DJ going to be starting?
DJ is going to be on the outside of the front row, starting P number 2.
Al, how's that?
That's awesome, man. That's it's good to get a front row spot. I don't think I've ever started in the top 20, to be honest with you guys. So hoping for some redemption this week. Still picking some pieces out of my teeth from the 2, and everybody else from the throttle stick in last week. So hopefully we can stay connected and keep it up front.
What do you think is going to take to be up front for the entirety of this race?
I don't know. I mean, strategy always comes into play with these longer races. I'm not too keen or familiar with the pit road stuff that a lot of these guys do. So just going to try to follow along with what the fast guys are doing and stay out of trouble.
Well, Al, anything else left here for the driver, number 16?
Well, I was just going to tell DJ, I was talking with Philip this week, and he said he didn't put your hood pins in last week, and that's why the hood came up and your throttle hung. So hopefully you stayed away from the 46 pit this week.
Yeah, we're going to stay as far away as we can, and hopefully we get all the laps in this week.
Well, good luck. You're one of my I know the car, by some people's standards, is a simple scheme. Is one of my favorites. I love simple. It's really old school looking. Love your race car. Good to see it up in the front part of the field again this week, and best of luck here tonight.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, Kelly. So really shook up that the redraw there. We got a lot of fast guys and some guys that seemed pretty surprised to be in that RC2 Promotions redraw.
Yeah, a couple of these guys that were, like you said, surprised to be up there and then gifted a fairly good starting spot. But, I mean, Bryan Hacker is a fast driver and only put up the 5th fastest time, but now he's going to be rolling off on pole. And I'm sure that 2 machine is going to be as wide as it can possibly be for the entirety of this night. But 125 laps is a long distance in these cars, so we'll have to see if he can really just outlast the rest of this field.
Yeah, and as we wind up the RC2 Promotions redraw, we would like to thank RC2 Promotions as being our redraw sponsor, as they specialize in event organization to help manage and organize your special events. They offer quality consulting, event planning and promotion, and full-service event management for competitive prices. If you have an idea for a special event, RC2 Promotions can make it happen. They can handle every detail of your event, from recruiting competitors to race day event management. With 7 years of iRacing experience and over 10 years experience in special event planning, RC2 Promotions can make your idea a reality. If you are interested, check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/RC2RP. That again is facebook.com/RC2RP. So Kelly, the redraw always never disappointing as we get through that, as the cars are out there making their final adjustments, and really not much that they can really adjust other than get used to the car. Everybody's on the same setup. If you with I guess like an ARCA-esque style, they can change their brake bias and the steering ratios and all that stuff. But right now, they're just out there getting some laps, trying to get used to this racetrack, and it is looking very slick out there.
I mean, yeah, like one of these drivers mentioned during our interviews during the redraw, it has been hot at pretty much every race so far this season. So it makes it so these cars are just super squirrely out there, and the track seems very greasy. And as mentioned, like, the track is hot. 134 degrees is what it's being measured at the moment. So that may allow a second lane to kind of work as well, because if everyone's riding that bottom side, it's going to get hot, it's going to get very slippery, and then maybe they can find a little bit more grip on the high side, which will kind of open up this track to a bit more passing.
I think it will, and this racetrack is by far one of the, I would say one of the hardest racetracks to pass on. But with the street stocks and the low horsepower, I think we're going to see a lot of two side-by-side racing. Sometimes the outside lane ends up being the preferred lane to be in. But if you can make that inside roll, I think you're going to be in a good spot, for this here. I know you said you don't have a lot of experience of watching races here, but over the years, we've ran a lot of laps around this racetrack, and one of the tracks you cut your teeth on within the iRacing management's roll up through, and it's one of those hard tracks to go. Each corner is a little bit different. You don't really know what it's going to do, and you just pray that you're not going to be caught up in anybody's mishap. But you're going to have to watch turn 2 and that front stretch. I don't know if you've noticed it, Kelly. It's wide off of turn 4, but narrows all the way up down the front stretch into turn number 1.
Yeah, I have seen that it kind of gets a little bit narrow and almost has like a bit of a bump out on the wall there at right before turn 1 before you widening once again. So we'll see if any of our drivers maybe get kind of caught out by that, if anyone kind of gets squeezed up into the wall running down the back straight or front straightaway. But it is going to be an interesting race to see, and we are just a few seconds away from gridding up here. So these drivers just getting the last couple laps they can.
Yeah, and right now Mike Alexander atop of the scoring pylon. Guillaume Fortin, you heard him. He's out here just trophy hunting. He's made 50% so far of the races this season. So Guillaume, well, we know him fairly well, Kelly, and he's been racing the North-South Racing League at least the last 3 seasons that I know of, if not longer.
Yeah, we both are very familiar with Guillaume. We know he's a fast driver, and he's shown it with the races he has been a part of this season. So we'll see what he can do from his starting spot. He got himself into that redraw, but let's get ready to go here. Drivers are going to be heading to the grid in just a few seconds, and we are got 125 laps around New Smyrna on the schedule.
Yeah, New Smyrna is going to put on a show here as the field starts to get populated here for the Fun Coast 125. We'll wait for the graphics department to tell me that they have it all set to go. It sounds like they do. And this is your starting lineup for tonight's 125 lap race. Remember, Dante Curtis at fast time. He'll be starting in 8th. So it'll be Bryan Hacker up on the front row. Outside of him, the number 16 of DJ Weltmeyer. Mike Alexander and Guillaume Fortin will make up row number 2. Rodney Huntoon and Philip Martin will make up row number 3. And row number 4, we'll see Mr. Dustin Shepard in car number 89. And outside of him, the 03 of Dante Curtis. That's your first 8 starters. Starting in 9th will be Scott Austin, who will also be able to get to the back in the shotgun rule. And Gary Eschen will roll off 10th.
11th, we're going to see the 20 of Travis Huffler, followed by the 21 of Jeff Bergener. Rex Hoyle, another driver that will be going to the back of the field, was originally slated to be starting in 13th, with Dan Janjanin in 14th. Brian Johnson, who's really in the hunt for the championship here with a very good points haul so far, he'll be rolling off in 15th. 16th goes to the 72 of Shane Loveridge. Justin Penuel will be rolling off in 17th, and Jonathan Cross in 18th. And then rounding out our top 20 is going to be Jesse Womack and the 69 of Randy Nichols.
Austin Williams and Conrad 85 will roll off 21st. Outside of him will be the 91 of Adam Gable. Chad McLeod and Braden Campbell will make up the 23rd and 24th starting spots. The remainder of your field will be Josh Cole, Matt Allen, Robbie Clevey, Joshua Suss, and Will Eastman be your 29 car field, as the field paces behind as we get ready to go with what is going to be a great night of racing. Bryan Hacker up on the front of the field as we come down off the front stretch, and we are green racing here in the Fun State 125. The Fun Coast 125 is live. Down in the 1s and 2 they come, and Bryan Hacker going to put that nose out front, but here comes Weltmeyer on the outside. And 1 week ago, those two drivers, well, they made contact after that throttle hung. Bryan Hacker going to take sole possession off of turn number 4.
Yeah, that outside lane does not quite have the grip just yet here over the inside, as you can see that inside lane moving a little bit better, as now here comes Mike Alexander going to get alongside DJ Weltmeyer, and he's going to get his nose ahead of Weltmeyer. And now Weltmeyer going way up the racetrack. Pretty much all of that outside line slid way up through 3 and 4. Now look at this, crossing him up. Weltmeyer going to try to go to the bottom. Can't quite get his nose there, but it is going to solidify him on that bottom lane and stop any sort of bleeding that he was having right now, as he's going to be able to defend the inside against Guillaume Fortin, who's trying to make that outside lane work.
Guillaume Fortin working the outside of the racetrack around DJ Weltmeyer. He's up to the right rear quarter panel. You can see how close they are as they look off the ZooFab onboard camera for DJ Weltmeyer. And they are going to settle it back into being single file here just for the time being. And this racetrack really getting all jammed up here behind the first about 6 cars single file. Dustin Shepard, now Dante Curtis under attack. As the 20 of Hoffler will go to the inside. That's the battle for the 9th spot. So your top 7 cars single file, then it's all double file back behind them.
And those cars are getting all together there, as there's a bit of contact just behind those two up there with a 38 and a 60. They're able to maintain control of the car. But now Travis Hoffler, he's going to get himself clear of Dante Curtis. Dante has been moving backwards since the start of this race. Now he's going to finally find himself back, slotted into that preferred line, as everyone is just trying to wait for the track to maybe widen up a little bit, or at least maybe wait for an opportunity that they can make a move here. I think the only way to really make a pass is to try to get your nose to the inside at the moment, as now Guillaume Fortin, that is exactly what he's trying to do. He had his nose to the inside of Weltmeyer, but could not quite push Weltmeyer high enough up the track to get himself into position. Now he's going to really burn the tires coming off of turn 4.
And this is one of those things, it's early on in this race. Lap number 8, they are working. You don't want to lose your patience too quick, but if you're a little bit quicker, you're going to start seeing a little bit of bumper tag. Now Curtis going to take a look underneath Hoffler. Can't do anything with him. Gary Eschen right there as well in that number 23 car. Oh, contact between Hoffler and Curtis. He's going to hold on to it. And they get single filed back out there. A little bit deeper in the back, Shane Loveridge, the driver from Australia, working the outside of Randy Nichols. And they got stacked up 2 by 2 as Jan Janin working up underneath the number 60 of Justin Penuel. That is the battle for the 15th spot on the racetrack.
We got a battle for 5th, though, as Philip Martin got to the inside of Rodney Huntoon, and now this is also going to open up Huntoon to Dustin Shepard, as Shepard is going to try to just keep himself stapled to the back end of that 46 car and follow him through, and that is exactly what has happened here. Is the 12 of Huntoon went way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, and that just opened up the bottom, allowed both the 46 and the 89 to get through. Just behind them, Dante Curtis, he's got himself to the inside of Heffler, but Heffler is really holding on that high side. He's rolling it fairly well and carrying a lot of momentum down these long straightaways, but it's just not quite going to be enough, as now he slams into that outside wall off of 4, and that allows Gary Eschen through as well.
And he got the 21 of Bergner right there behind him as well, trying to make their way up through there. And that Bergner in that chrome car, don't look at it too long, Kelly, you'll burn your retinas out. But the 38 of Ryan Johnson right there behind him, and Jesse Womack in the 14. And just starting to notice the outside of the racetrack very marbled up. And as this race goes on, that's only going to get worse. And as the racing groove moves up, will those marbles move up? That's going to be the biggest question. A little bit deeper in the pack, Will Eastman trying to make his way up through. He is in that 33 Skoll Bandit car. He has worked around the 33 of Brian Campbell, as they are 3 wide on the front stretch. Last week's winner, Scott Austin and Rex Hoyle, side by side. They were 3 wide there just for a moment towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, Rodney Huntoon in a little bit of trouble as he got nudged there by the 46 of Martin after Martin got passed by Dustin Shepard. And now look at Gary Eschen getting a great run off of turn 4 and getting to the inside of Dante Curtis. Curtis having to go way up the racetrack in 1 and 2. Now maybe he can fire back down the back straightaway. No, he's going to back off. Not going to try to force his nose to the inside. He may just be trying to save his tires as Huntoon goes way up the track in turn 4. And now Eschen to the inside, down the front straightaway. Side by side, barely anything separating them at the line, and Eschen just going to use that inside line and the much shorter racetrack to get alongside and get past Rodney Huntoon.
And I was noticing, just watching Huntoon's car as they came up off the corner, a little bit more bumper tag there as Huntoon tagged the outside wall off turn number 4. Huntoon's car looked a little bit loose after that contact. Maybe that right rear tire heated up just a little bit. He's got to cool that back down, which is really hard to do during this long green flag run.
Yeah, and he's getting a little sideways through these corners here, and just behind them there's a bit of a gaggle of cars as we've got Jeff Bergener trying to get himself through. He is going to get through. That 21 is clear, and now Travis Huffler, he is in trouble as now he's got Ryan Johnson underneath him. He's now through. Now he's going to have to deal with Jesse Womack to his inside. Womack's going to get through here as the outside lane is just not working for these drivers at this point in time.
And last time by Bryan Hacker in a 21.10, everyone else in the 21.0. So Bryan Hacker opening up the race lead. Mike Alexander, though, starting to close in on him in the battle for third, shaping up as Fortin is all over the backside of Weltmeyer, trying to make something happen. Because the top 4 cars have really broken away from Dustin Shepard and Philip Martin. As right now we are working a lap number 20 as they work down here off of turn number 4. Lap 21 will get started. Dante Curtis back around the number 23 of Eschen, so move Curtis back to that number 7 spot.
Yeah, now Huntoon's starting to close back up on them. Looks like he's gotten control of that 12 machine once again. May have allowed those tires to cool off. It seems like the grip is coming back to that car just behind them. You see the 21 machine. He's trying to defend on that inside against the 38 of Johnson. Johnson now, great run on the high side. Is he going to make a high side pass work? It looks like it. He's nearly clear going through 1 and 2. And yeah, I think that's the first pass we have seen on the outside. Great move by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson to the 10th spot, relegating Bergener back into the 11th spot, who is now trying to hold off the 14 of Jesse Womack. And it won't be long, and our race leaders are going to be into lap traffic. It's contact! Womack up the racetrack. He got on the backside of Bergener, and Hoffler moved the 14 up out of the way. Here comes Penuel in the Kelly's Custom Engraving number 60. He is working down through here as Penuel trying to make his way up towards the front. Last week's feature winner, let's check in where he is. He currently sits in that 22nd spot, right there behind the Aussie Outlaw of Shane Leverage, as he works with Will Eastman. Rex Hoyle right there as well. And Bryan Hacker will start to close in on the back of the field. He's about a straightaway behind them right now as 29 cars started the race. 29 cars still out on the racetrack.
Ryan Johnson looking for another pass here as he's getting to the inside of Huntoon. Huntoon, though, using that momentum off the high line. The high line may be starting to come in here, but it looks like you have to just be in the right spot, as if you go too far up, you get into those marbles. And I just saw that out of the corner of my camera there with Justin Penuel. He went way up the track in 3 and 4 and just did not carry much speed off the corner. This time through 1 and 2 is a little bit lower and is able to carry a lot more speed. And yeah, he's defending that inside or against the pass on the inside with a good run off the high side of these corners.
Yeah, and you talk about those marbles, Kelly. That's like hitting black ice that you can't really see, except you can see it while you're out there driving here. You get those tires in there, whether it's the right rear or the right front, and you're kind of just along for the ride. You got to let off the gas and lose a lot of momentum. And I expect that those marbles will start to get pushed up the racetrack as the outside lane starts to get utilized a little bit more as these tires wear out.
Yeah, that is what we're starting to see, but Rodney Huntoon did just lose his position to Ryan Johnson there as Huntoon tried to defend on the high side, but Johnson was able to get himself right through there. And a little bit behind them. Justin Penuel, though, he was able to get the spot using the high lane, and I think I just saw another high side pass there between Austin Williams getting around Randy Nichols. So this track is starting to widen out a little bit, and I think we're also seeing a bit of a difference in drivers that have used up their tires compared to ones that have been saving. But we've got a battle really brewing here for P3. That third place is under attack. DJ Weltmeyer, he's having to defend now against Guillaume Fortin. It looks like there's a little bit of a dent into the back of Weltmeyer in the front of Fortin, and I think we can guess what might have happened there.
Are you suggesting that the rear bumper cap meant a front bumper cap? Is that what you're saying, Kelly?
I think that is what we can kind of reasonably deduce from one driver being dented on the front and one driver being dented on the back.
I would say that you would be correct there as they work down here in the turns 3 and 4. And Dustin Shepard closing in there is trouble right in front of your race leader. The 10 of Cross was all crossed up. He's going to be our first car down, one lap. So now a lap car between Bryan Hacker and Mike Alexander as we go back to that battle that has now become a 3-car battle as Guillaume Fortin is still trying to find a way around Weltmeyer as Dustin Shepard's closing, and don't look too far back. Dante Curtis starting to reel in on this battle as well.
Yeah, Guillaume is all over the rear bumper of that 16 machine. He's trying to find himself an opportunity, and it almost looked like he was going to maybe diamond the corner a little bit. I would think that would be a good move here at this track with these long straightaways. You can kind of use that momentum. However, with these cars not being very high horsepower, you can't really make up that momentum that you lose by sliding in the corner like that. So maybe that is not quite the play to do on a street stock, as still that battle still trying to take shape here. Is Guillaume looking for an opportunity now, maybe daring to go up the racetrack a little bit. It seems like everyone has kind of filed back into a single file, and that's allowed that lane of marbles to build up in the second lane once again.
Yeah, now Weltmeyer up the racetrack. This might be the position that Fortin needs. He takes the look to the inside as we look down from our blimp cam. Now Fortin going to get to the inside of Weltmeyer up off of turn number 4. Can't quite get that power down, Kelly. The outside just too strong right now with that momentum. Is this battle really going to turn into a 4-car battle, make it 5, as Eschen has kind of left the 46 of Philip Martin for the time being. But this is a great battle up on the racetrack as Bryan Hacker has 1 second lead over Mike Alexander. He has led it since the green flag has dropped. Weltmeyer holding on to third, but he is feeling all sorts of pressure as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah, and he has just got to keep focus on what he's doing, and it looks like these guys are starting to prefer that second lane. They're kind of coming into, especially 1 and 2, about a lane up. They're just using that momentum that they're getting there. And now Guillaume going way down on the bottom there. He's trying to get his nose in, can't quite get past the bumper, and I'm sure it's going to start to get frustrating for the driver of that 13 machine as he is still trying everything to get around there, and now burning the tires off of 2. Just trying to get the momentum that he needs to get alongside DJ Weltmeyer, who is just running a very consistent line and able to keep these other drivers at bay here. But it is allowing the rest of these guys to close up, as Dustin Shepard now getting right up to Fortin, and then behind him you see Dante Curtis and Gary Eschen getting themselves involved in this battle too.
Yeah, and at what point you see these you know that the guys coming up behind you are fast drivers as well. All these drivers that are out here tonight are really fast, and at what point does it's hot, it's slick out there, the cars are not handling as they did when the green flag dropped some 39 laps ago. At what point do you start using that chrome horn a little bit harder? We see the big dents on the 13 and the 16. We know that they made contact. Now you got some guys coming up behind them. When are they going to use it? As Shepard takes a look to the inside as Guillaume scrapes the outside Armco down here in the turn number 1. It'll be Fortin battling back on the outside. Here they come off the corner side by side. That allows Weltmeyer a little bit of breathing space for the time being. Shepard throws it in deep.
Yeah, it looked like Dante was, now actually pushing him in the corner. But Dante Curtis was pushing the 89 machine all the way down the back straightaway, trying to just get someone to make a move, and that is actually going to cost him now as he made contact once again in turns 4, and that caused him to get a little bit loose and have to drop back. And now the 23 of Eschen fighting on that inside lane and looking like he's going to maybe get through. However, there's still some good momentum being on that high side, but a little bit loose off of 4 is Dante Curtis, and I think that is going to cost him the position as now Eschen has gotten himself through.
Yeah, Eschen able to get through, and right there up in front of this battle that we've been watching is the lapper of Cross. John Cross running back there, only the 1 car lap down, so he's kind of hoping for that yellow rag to fall, but he could become used as a pick if you're, Fort and Shepard. You got these guys, and are you looking ahead trying to figure out, all right, how can I try to get through this? How can I try to make it a pick? How can I get through this? As they all work here off the corner, and now Philip Martin starting to get closed in on this battle as well, as 5 cars nose to tail trying to work off turn number 2.
It's almost hard to look ahead and see what that lap car is doing because of how close these guys are all running. They're just nose to tail. I think I saw the first 3 of them all locked together coming off of turn 2 last time around, so we'll have to see if any of these guys can even see what's going on past the guy in front of them, and they're all trying to just find an opportunity around the car in front. Once again, Guillaume looking to see if he can get a move off of turn 2, just can't get the speed, can't get the momentum. And now, once again, the 16 going up the racetrack off of 4, but that's going to allow him to carry a bit more speed. And again, Guillaume can't get his nose there.
And he has to quickly get back up because Shepard was ready to pounce to the outside. You see them all running all sorts of different lines through turns 1 and 2, trying to find the grip and to keep that momentum up to make it. Right now, Weltmeyer doing what he needs to do, keeping it on the outside. It looks like the 72 of Shane Loveridge is down on pit road. On lap number 45, he came down. So troubles for the 72 driver as everyone else works around the racetrack.
Yeah, taking a look at that car, nothing seems to be wrong with it. We'll have to maybe look back and see what happened to him possibly, but he's now coming back out onto the racetrack. But yeah, trouble for the 72 car as he comes down pit road early. And it looks like it may have just been a scheduled stop for him.
And he is down and away. Remember, they are on a lower fuel run here. So if this stays green, how long do you stay out? As we see Bryan Hacker closing in on the back of the field here. And he's got a 2-second lead to play with. Now, Fortin able to get around as he is side by side the top for the battle for 3rd down the backstretch. It will be Fortin to the inside, Weltmeyer to the outside. And everyone else trying to figure out which lane to go with. Fortin, can he complete the pass? He cannot off turn number 4.
Yeah, and these guys are watching and learning here. They're looking to see which lane is going to be the faster lane. Which lane are they going to want to go with to try to make their own moves here. But this is going to really open up this battle or this whole battle for 3rd after at least one of these guys wins here and gets through. Now it's seeming like that inside line is starting to work. So now the guys are trying to get themselves to the bottom line. And here comes Dustin Shepard. He gets himself to the inside of Weltmeyer. And I think Weltmeyer caught the wall off of 4. And that killed all his momentum down that long straightaway. And now he's going to drop all the way back, lose all 4 of those positions. And he is going to be forced to slot in behind Dante Curtis before he loses anything more. As now the 46 of Philip Martin and Ryan Johnson as well now starting to close in on these guys.
Yeah, and we are closing on that halfway point, and we know with a lower fuel tank, they have to at least come down a minimum of 1 time. I did not check my fuel numbers before here, but we have Randy Nichols and Josh Cole on pit road now under green flag conditions, trying to make it there, as this seems to be a clean race so far. Now Gary Eschen going for the 4th spot underneath Dustin Shepard. He'll take that spot away. Here comes Dante Curtis trying to fill that hole as well. You're going to get a lot of different strategy now, Kelly. You got guys coming out with fresh tires like Josh Cole. Look how he's able to just rip around that corner. You got different speeds. This is brewing what could possibly cause a yellow flag.
Yeah, it could easily cause a yellow flag as one of these guys tries to get themselves through. Josh Cole just sat back, waited to see where Guillaume was going to go, and then just ripped around in that gap that Guillaume had left open. And now you can see just the difference these tires the difference between a fresh set and a set that is 53 laps old. Actually, Guillaume now a few laps ahead, as it costs these drivers about like 3 or 4 laps if they want to come down pit road and take a full set of tires.
Yeah, right now I think you minimize that that there is trouble back here. Ryan Johnson and Weltmeyer playing a little bit of paint swap as they got Randy Nichols, who's on fresh tires, behind him, trying to mind his own P's and Q's. He's going to cut him up 3 wide down the backstretch. He thinks better of it. I don't think you can make it in the turn number 3 wide. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, but Nichols now going to get himself through, getting a good run there on those fresher tires. And meanwhile, while we were talking about that, Guillaume Fortin lost out on P3 to Gary Eschen. Eschen has moved himself up, so that guy has been moving forward since the start of this race. He started all the way back in 10th, is now sitting in 3rd as we see the 73 car coming down pit road. That is Robbie Clavey. So one by one, cars are starting to come to the pits, but I think you want to stretch it for as long as possible just in case a caution does come out.
Yeah, and we're looking at the race leader right now, who's got a 3-second lead over Mike Alexander. That Austin Designs number 2, the driver out of Illinois, really out here putting in the paces down. He's up behind in the car number 80. That would be Joshua Suss in that 80 car. It's a sharp-looking race car as they all work around here through turns 3 and 4. Bryan Hacker still out front, running about a second off of what the pace was at the start of this race as we close in on the halfway point.
Guillaume Fortin under fire once again now. Looks like Dante Curtis is going to get himself through running that lower lane. He looks like he may have maybe saved his tires a little bit better than the driver of the 13 cars. He was now going to get himself completely through now through turns 3 and 4. So move Dante Curtis up into P4, but there's still a long ways to go till he gets to the front of the field. And just in front of him, a little bit of a scramble as Matthew Allen and Randy Nichols were trying to get by Gary Eschen while they've got those fresher tires.
Yeah, and a nice looking race car for Matt Allen as he works around here. Those fresher tires. Remember, Allen has not been down pit road. So right now we've only had 5 cars on pit road. Robbie Clavey, Shane Leverage, Josh Cole, and Dan Jajanin and Randy Nichols, the only cars to come down pit road so far, Kelly, as the cross flags are up. And it looks like Josh Cole going to work the outside of the race leader to get a lap back the hard way. So that'll put him just 2 laps down. And that could be a big deal here with green flag pit stops if it cycles through.
Yeah, that could help him on these green flag stops, but if a caution were to come out now, it would still trap him at least 1 lap down as the leader would pit. So he's going to have a lot more work to do if he wants to get himself back up to the front. As we got a number of drivers working through lap traffic and even some lap traffic working through the rest of the field. As Shane Leverage in that 72 car, he's got fresher tires. He's going to go past on the inside of Guillaume Fortin, and then just behind them, Matthew Allen in a lap down car fighting against Ryan Johnson in that 38 car as Johnson just tries to get to his inside and tries to get around him. And meanwhile, he's under attack from Dustin Shepard, who is just trying to make the move stick while he's got an opportunity, maybe trying to see if he can get that 74 to be a pick for him.
Yeah, he's trying to make it work there, but he's going to have to fall back in line behind Tiny Horse of Ryan Johnson here as he works down in the turns 1 and 2. As we are just past the halfway point of tonight's 125 lap contest. Bryan Hacker has led all the laps so far. Gary Eschen has driven to the number 2 spot. And I say it that way because he has a fast hot rod here tonight and able to save as Mike Alexander falls to 3rd. Now Dante Curtis is right there behind him, knocking on the back door. And you got to wonder, now lap traffic coming into play is everyone has to play nice together, especially with the different strategies out there, Kelly. How hard is that as a driver to keep composure when you are one of the front runners, knowing that the guys that short pitted are on a different strategy, you're going to be a little bit faster right now to let them go and also try not to lose too much time to the guy you're racing in front of you.
You just have to ignore them and think that they're on a different strategy. You're not racing them at the moment, and have faith that your strategy is going to be the one to pay off. So they'll see that 72 car come ripping past them here in a few moments, but They just have to think that if a caution comes out, he's going to be stuck laps down. They're going to come in pit. They'll be on even fresher tires and be multiple laps ahead of him. So if they just ignore him, let him do his thing, and maybe open up an opportunity, as now that seems to be what Dante Curtis is looking for, as that 72 car is pushing Mike Alexander all the way up the racetrack, and Dante Curtis looking for an opportunity to stick his foot in the door, and that is what's going to happen here. He gets to the inside of Mike Alexander. They're going to be side by side coming down the front straightaway, and Alexander just going to lift off and let him go.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you know that a pit stop is coming. I'm assuming if you're inside the top 10 right now, or even whatnot, it looks like Alexander going to be the first of our leaders to come down pit road. Gary Eschen coming down pit road as well. So two of our front runners coming down pit road. Weltmeyer as well. So we'll document this now, because this could be a race-winning move for some of our front runners. We'll see how they come out and where they cycle out, as Bryan Hacker still leads, stays on the racetrack here on lap number 73.
Yeah, so these fuel levels must be getting low at this point. We'll have to see how long Bryan Hacker is going to be able to make this work, and maybe he's just betting on a late caution coming out here, as a few of these guys are in the mix of fresh tires and old tires, and all it takes is one miscommunication to send a car spinning, and if that happens, Bryan Hacker is going to be in a good spot, as a few of these fast guys are going to be stuck multiple laps down now at this point. One of the drivers that has not pit, as a number of them are coming out right now, Dante Curtis. He is still rolling around here. He's in second place, 4.5 seconds back from Bryan Hacker. Oh, Hacker is down on pit road.
Yeah, Bryan Hacker going to peel off the racing surface. That's going to give the race lead to Dante Curtis as he comes by. Dustin Shepard underneath him. That is not for position. And it looks like it's about 2 laps, Kelly, when you come down pit road to take in regardless of what the surface is. Everyone that's pitted is at least 2 laps down.
Yeah, now here comes Dante Curtis. He's going to come down pit road. And I believe we'll see if Ryan Johnson... No, Johnson is going to stay out. So Johnson takes over the race lead for the time being. We'll see if this is going to work out for him. It seems like he's trying to stretch that fuel and tires as far as he can go. As him, Heffler, Austin, Gable, and Eastman, I think, are the only drivers who have not pit at this point. And now here comes Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson coming to pit road, and you can see the marbles down on the inside. And it looked like Mike Alexander was coming back into pit road, so possible trouble for the R&R Kinsman entry. Maybe a speeding penalty on pit road, Kelly.
Yeah, and that would pretty much ruin his race here, as the lead has now gone into control of Travis Heffler. He has not come down to pit. He is going to stay out and stretch it out a little bit more. So there's still a few drivers out there. I think it's the top 7 at this moment have not come down for pit service. These guys are probably hoping for a caution to come out at any moment here. And I think they're just begging for it to happen before they're forced to come in and pit.
You got Hoffler, the 5 of Scott Austin. Last week's winner picked it up, led every lap to victory lane in the Hampton Heat 125 1 week ago. Now finds himself running in that spot number 2 currently. Adam Gable in the 91 car. I haven't talked about him here tonight, and he is right there battling with the number 2 of Dan Janjanin in that 91 car and doing a good job. Will Eastman started at the back of the pack. He finds himself in 4th in that Skull Bandit number 33. Is now Scott Austin takes over the top spot momentarily. He's got the 16 of Weltmeyer trying to get back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, Weltmeyer trying to get himself through here. Weltmeyer has come down in pit. He's on the fresher tires, so he's just trying to get himself past Scott Austin and get one of those laps back here, as Austin is one of these drivers that has continued to stay out, is stretching that fuel as far as possible. They're now going to put Joshua Suss a lap down here, as he's another driver who has not pit, but he has now just lost a lap here purely on the pace of these drivers. And Scott Austin, he started way back in the field, and it seemed like he was kind of mired in the field as well. He was not able to make his way up through there, so I think this is maybe the best strategy call he could hope for, is just to run long, stretch it out, and just pray for a caution.
Yeah, I mean, last time by the top 3 drivers are almost 22-second lap times. these drivers on fresh tires are running 20 flats right now, like a 20 point, well, not a 20 flat, but like a 20, 29, 20.9, 20.8 right now as they try to work through lap traffic. Is Scott Austin still leads it over 1 second back to Gable, who runs in spot number 2. Hoffler, Eastman, Cross, your top 5. And Allen in that 74 car. Matt Allen is on the lead lap here, just on the tail end. You see Scott Austin right there behind him. And so interesting now, Cross coming down pit road. Scott Austin stays out, putting lap number 85 on the books. They start lap 86.
Yeah, Scott Austin still trying to stretch it as long as possible. We've now only got 5 cars on the lead lap that have not come down and pit. I believe actually that's 6 total, as Joshua Suss is a lap down but is not pit either. So few guys still holding out hope. Scott Austin, Adam Gable, Will Eastman, and now Travis Heffler. He's actually decided to make the call, come down pit road. So he's tapped out. He's gone as far as he can go. He's going to come and pit from P4. We'll see where he's going to come out after these pit stops. One of these guys that has been kind of gaining positions after the stop, that was Randy Nichols. He came down earlier on, and he has now found himself right behind Bryan Hacker. There's a few of these other drivers that actually come down pit road. I think it's now only Scott Austin and Matt Allen that have not pit.
Yeah, those are the only 2 cars that have not come down pit road as of now. They go 3 wide down the back stretch as they come off pit road. Nichols trying to make his way into there. Bryan Hacker will go to running in 3rd. And I was a little bit nervous there, Kelly, is I'm not the greatest strategist, and Brian, he sounded a little bit worried here. If we got long green flag, you're going to have to make that decision of when to pit and when not to pit. And right now looking like he might have played the right cards here. As you know, Scott Austin is going to have to come down to pit at some point here with 36 laps to go. And it looks like right now is going to be when, and Hacker should regain the race lead in about another lap's time.
Yeah, I think this was the only hope for Scott Austin, was just hope and pray for a caution to come out and trap the rest of the field a lap down. They would have got their lap back, of course, if they had stayed out while he pit, but it still would have put him in front of the field compared to everyone else. But now he is going to have to tap out, be forced to come down pit road, and that, as mentioned, is going to hand the lead right back to Bryan Hacker, who is going to lead this field a few seconds up ahead of Randy Nichols.
And Nichols
still
yeah, I mean, gaining time. He went in the pits with a 2-second lead. When he relinquished it, comes out with almost a 3.5-second lead, Kelly.
Yeah, Bryan Hacker had a great stop there, and it has allowed him to keep building his lead as well. It's up to 3.6 seconds over Randy Nichols, and now the caution comes out.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure the 5 car is swearing in his helmet, as he needed that a few laps prior. But it looks like Jesse Womack and Austin Williams in turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like Williams in the 85 car and the 14 of Jesse Womack going to make some contact, and they might not be sending each other some Christmas cards here in a few months. It's hard to believe that tomorrow kicks off the month of October. Just wild to me. All right, let's see what happened, Kelly. They were 3 wide from Williams, working the outside of the racetrack. Oh, just got that outside wall and actually turned the 74 of Allen. And the 14 just nowhere to go. And those 2 cars will come to a stop here on the backstretch. So if we go on board, looking out the front with Jesse Womack, you can see up off the corner, the 85 of Williams gets the outside wall, comes off of it, and just the 74 of Allen was just there, Kelly, and around he went. Allen continues on, but the 85 and the 14 come to a stop.
Well, while we're under caution here, we've got a few takers on pit road, namely Bryan Hacker, who has come down here to, I think, change a set of tires, which means Gary Eschen is going to take over the race lead. I don't know what the strategy is behind this call here. This is going to put Bryan Hacker way back in the field. I think he's coming out of the pits all the way back in 12th. So it is going to be a long ways to the front of the field. And I mean, those tires are going to be a little bit faster than the leaders, like by 20 laps, but I mean, he's got a few other cars that have come down pit road with him, like Ryan Johnson that's now in front of him, and Randy Nichols, and then also Scott Austin. He actually is going to benefit from this as he looks to be sitting in 6th place, last pit on lap 90. So he's going to have about 20 lap advantage tires over these everyone in front of him.
And you got to remember, we're going to have the Austin Designs Choose Cone coming into effect when that happens as well here in a few laps. We'll keep an eye out for, or an ear out for that, Kelly, when they look like they're going to do that, because they got some lap cars that are looking for a wave around in front of them that would be on the tail end of that lead lap. But Scott Austin, that we thought the yellow was going to hurt him, but he's going to come out in that spot number 6 right now. I know if 2 guys that were in front of him came down the pit, it looked like they took tires just based on some of the pit times that we're seeing here on the scoring system.
I think the choose cone is happening this time around. Yeah, Gary Esching going to be choosing the bottom, not with not much surprise. Dustin Shepard going to be taking the outside lane. And kind of seems like a lot of people are just keeping the status quo here, just kind of going left, right, left, right.
The middle zone that you see here with the Austin Designs Choose Cone out on the racetrack. Here with our Choose camera, you can't really go down the center that Williams just did. That's kind of a no-no, they said in the drivers' meeting. So we'll see if there's any penalties handed out there, but first time we saw the choose in effect here tonight. The field doubled back up, lights out around the racetrack. That means we're going to go back green flag racing here. And if you would have told me, Kelly, after that we would have our first yellow flag some 90 some odd laps into this race, I would have told you no way.
Yeah, this has been a very clean race up till this point here as the pace car getting ready to come back down. And we're going to get to our first restart of the night. And it's going to be in control of Gary Eschen. And Eschen going to fire off down off of turn 4. And he's going to rocket down towards turn number 1 as the track narrows there. Everyone going to get right up into close quarters. And car is going to scramble all over the place. Look at the 69 car trying to go shooting up the middle here. He's going to now go 3 wide on the bottom. And he's going to turn the 5. Scott Austin trying to hold on to it. And he's going to hold on to it. Somehow everyone through that whole scramble there going to keep their car pointed in the right direction.
How they hang on to it, I don't know, as Austin was facing inward. Nichols now going to try to go back to the inside of him as well. Bryan Hacker went way up into the marbles after seeing the 5 cars sideways. Now Scott Austin attacking the 46 of Philip Martin. That's the battle for the 5th spot. 25 laps to go here this afternoon. In the Fun Coast 125 is everyone trying to chase down Gary Eschen. And now Dustin Shepard running in spot number 2. Guillaume Fortin is 3rd. Dante Curtis challenging Alpha turn number 4.
Yeah, there's a 20-lap difference between the tire. Oh, and once again, getting a little bit of contact between the 69 and the 5. And that's going to shoot the 5 all the way to the inside. And actually, the driver that's going to cost the most is going to be Guillaume Fortin, who got knocked up the racetrack and up into the wall. Somehow, everyone once again keeps control of it. Nichols again nearly getting into the quarter panel of the 5 of Scott Austin. It seems like Nichols is not going to be satisfied until that 5 car is spun completely around.
Yeah, they did a lot of bumper tag right now, and he's got a little bit better of a forward drive. Looks to look into the inside as we are on board with him. This time has the inside line underneath Scott Austin. So Nichols trying to make that out inside line work. Can't quite clear the 5 of Austin just yet. That is for the 4th spot as they watch the top 3 cars single file it out. Bryan Hacker is going to go from the top suite all the way down to the bottom floor, trying to make something happen behind Nichols and Philip Martin as they work back here as well. Scott Austin up the racetrack once again.
Yeah, Scott Austin holding on that outside lane, and this is exactly what Eschen needs, as he needs these guys that are on the fresh tires to be fighting each other instead of trying to chase him down. He's just going to use everything that he's got left on that rubber to try to open up the gap while these guys battle it out for position. way back here in the field, battling for just the top 5 spots at the moment. Oh, as there's nearly a bit of contact there between the 02, the 46, and the 38 as they all just battle door to door going into turn 1.
Yeah, Philip Martin on the outside right now as he's got Ryan Johnson pancaked down to the inside lane. Here comes the number 2 of Bryan Hacker up underneath there. More contact off of turn number 4. You can just see how you try to carry so much momentum there as Martin gets moved up the racetrack by Bryan Hacker. Hacker trying to get around Martin. That will put him into the 7th spot. Remember, Hacker came down from the race lead to take some fresh Hoosier Racing tires on him. He's trying to make good of them here with 18 laps to go.
Yeah, the laps are ticking away, and I do not know if this is going to work out for Bryan Hacker. I think he needed to stay out on the racetrack, stay up at the front of the field. He's now going to catch the wall coming off of turn 2 as he's trying to battle on the outside of Ryan Johnson. Johnson holding that inside line, and he's going to be able to get himself just ahead. These guys both came down to that last caution. I think Johnson may have taken less tires, and that's what allowed him to get the spot over Hacker. We'll see if those extra tires are going to be worth it for Hacker. Is now on that outside lane. He's pulled up completely even.
And they are closing in on the 69 of Randy Nichols, and Scott Austin's car has come back to life as he's just paid a little bit of a bumper tag to the backside of the 03 of Dante Curtis. Here with 16 laps to go, Bryan Hacker is going to clear the 38 of Johnson. Will now go on the attack behind the 69 of Randy Nichols. Nichols right to the back bumper of Scott Austin. No love lost there. We saw them have some bumper tag here this afternoon. So once again, Nichols goes to the inside of Scott Austin up off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and Austin going to use the momentum on that high side. He's going to get himself clear once again, but Nichols not going to give up the bottom lane just yet. Just in front of them, Dante Curtis also on that bottom side, trying to get himself around Dustin Shepard. There's only a couple laps difference between those two on their tires compared to the rest of the ones behind him. And just up ahead, Gary Eschen probably watching this all unfold in his rearview mirror, and he is hoping for more and more fighting, hoping that these guys will not get around those next 2 drivers in line. As here comes Nichols. He's going to get a good run here on the bottom side. He's going to get himself up to the inside. Now caution going to fly once again. We'll have to see who's going to be involved in that one, but that is going to completely nullify this whole battle we were just having.
Looks like Jesse Womack involved again with the 85. DJ Weltmeyer also involved, so a tough break for the 16 as you see the nose piece ripped off the front of the Weltmeyer 16 car. We will take a look back here and see what happened. They worked down here. They were side by side with Penuel and the 9 of Josh Cole. Oh, they tried coming off the corner 4 wide, and Penuel goes around. Joshua Suss goes around with slight contact with Matt Allen. And Williams was really not involved, Kelly. He just came to a stop to avoid from making contact. We will go, once again, we'll go on board. They were 3 wide, just up off the corner. Did not really, I don't think, realize that Penuel was there. And around he would go.
Yeah, Weltmeyer definitely getting the worst of that as he got right reared and put hard into the wall off of turn 4. And then drivers just scrambling to kind of avoid these damaged race cars that were on the front straight. As Penuel, he's going to have to come down pit road to get some damage repaired. Looks like Womack down there as well. See if anyone else is coming down. I think the 16 is going to try to keep going.
He is.
I don't think I've seen.
He's
oh, no,
on
now
pit
he's
road.
coming down. Yeah. Because he's got some heavy front end to the front, or heavy damage to the front end, as you had mentioned. And looks like he's going to also take tires while he's down there as well.
This time by, I believe we're going to be headed into the Austin Designs Choose Cone. Maybe next time by.
I believe so.
It's one of the unique
everyone
rules.
is choosing the high side.
Yeah, one of those unique rules here with the NSL ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series. They have that choose rule, which I think is pretty neat. You get the, if say the top 3-4 guys all go to the bottom or the top, and you're that 4th, 5th place guy, well, you're going to gain a lot of track position potentially by choosing what they're not. And right now, I don't know which lane I would choose, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, the outside lane seems to have some momentum there, and actually that's what Eschen is going to choose. He's going to go to the high side this time, and he's going to give the bottom to Dustin Shepard. He will have control of the field coming to the restart still, so he is going to have that a little bit of an advantage on when to fire. But one thing this is also going to do is it's going to put Bryan Hacker and Scott Austin side by side.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side. We know that the 2 car has a little bit better tire situation underneath that race car. And, the first 6 cars, they just did the opposite of what the car did in front of them. So Gary took the outside, that put Shepard to the inside. Curtis went to the outside, Nichols inside. So not a lot of gamesmanship there, just kind of other than, trying to keep that track position and stay up towards the front here. But it's going to be Gary Eschen and Dustin Shepard up on the front row on this restart. We're getting ready to go here, Kelly. We had 7, there'll be 6 to go at the green flag.
Yeah, a short sprint here to finish off this race. Pace car down and away. Gary Eschen has control. He's going to fire it off. It looks like the 89 of Shepard spun the tires a little bit coming off the corner, but he got them hooked up. He's going to charge to hold on to second place. And now he's going to get a little bit of a tag from the 69 of Nichols. Nichols trying to get himself through. He's got fresher tires compared to the next 3 in front of him, as he's once again going to get into the back of the 89 machine. Now going to force his way through 3 wide there, door to door, and the 89 is not going to give it up just yet. He is trying to fight back, trying to keep it there, and now that's going to cause a big stack up behind them.
Yeah, Scott Austin now going to roll the outside there, as the 2 had to check up there after seeing some contact between the 89. Now the Bryan Hacker getting pushed backwards. Here comes Ryan Johnson to the outside of Hacker, as Randy Nichols sits into the number 3 spot. Nichols up 17 spots here this afternoon, and he is not done yet. Scott Austin right there as well. Shepard sideways on the backstretch and contact. Shepard and Austin. Hacker wrecking on the backstretch.
Yeah, it looked like Hacker was just trying to push his way through, and unfortunately pushed a little bit too much. Sent these cars all sorts of sideways, and he just could not recollect that. It looked like Dustin Shepard hard into the wall, and that's going to cause a big stack up on the back of the field.
Yeah, the truck not quite getting it just yet there, up off the corner. We'll go from the Goodyear blimp. You see the 89 and the 2 back here, up off the corner, and it's got sideways, and Shepard trying to catch it and chase it all the way up the racetrack, and Hacker was just there, like you said, Kelly.
Yeah, but that's going to now give us a green-white checkered here, and I don't think that's what Gary Eschen wanted to see. He had a good start. He had a couple of blockers between himself and Randy Nichols, who is on a hard charge trying to get himself to the front, and Randy Nichols does not care who's in front of him. He is just pushing them out of the way if he's got the pace, and that is pretty much exactly what he had done to the 89 machine before the 89 did get back there with Bryan Hacker. So we'll have to see what these lanes these guys are going to choose, and what Randy Nichols is going to try to do to get himself around Curtis and Eschen before the end of this race.
Yeah, and it looks like Shepard's going to slot back into spot number 7 currently before the Austin Designs choose cone. It looks like Bryan Hacker back to the 14th spot currently in that number 2 car. So bringing out the yellow flag is we look like we will be heading definitely into a green-white checkers. A little bit of overtime here on a Monday night as they come down here, as you see them roll. Not quite ready to choose just yet. Been a pretty entertaining race though. The fuel strategy, then now you got these short runs here. Really been quite entertaining for my standard.
Yeah, it has definitely been an entertaining race here tonight, and we're going to get a little bit extra here going into overtime. All right, this time around, they are going to be taking the choose cone, so we'll see what these guys decide this time. Eschen took the high side last time. Where's he going to go this time? He's going to take the bottom. So these guys are now going to scramble for positions like the Eschen on the bottom, Curtis on the top, Randy Nichols on the bottom, and then Scott Austin and Ryan Johnson both on the top. Heffler going to be going up a couple spots there, choosing the bottom. So a few different cars going to be in contention here at the end of this race.
Going to be interesting here on the play call. And I feel like at this stage of the event, right, Kelly, that choose cone is going to either make or break your race. If you choose that wrong lane here, someone spins the tires on the restart, something along those lines, you know. Lights are out. My palms are sweaty.
Yeah, and the guys in the second row have got about 15 to 20 lap fresher tires than those in the front row. So Eschen and Curtis going to have to try to run away right at the drop of the green flag. Austin and Nichols going to have to try to get around in as short of time as possible. We're going to see who's going to be able to make it work, who's going to be able to get it done, who's going to take the win tonight. Pace car down on the way, and here comes 23 of Eschen. Big charge for that inside line. Nichols going to try to follow him through. Green flag up in the air, 2 to go.
2 laps to go as they work Eschen. Now Randy Nichols down to the inside of Dante Curtis. Can Nichols clear Curtis and get himself a shot at Gary Eschen? Down in the turns 3 and 4. This time by the white silk will fly. One more half mile to go for Gary Eschen.
Yeah, Gary Eschen looking to be good here as Nichols going to get himself around Curtis. Curtis going to charge back on the high side. He's going to get himself ahead. One more turn for these drivers. Eschen, he's got the lead. He's going to be completely clear. Eschen is going to win the race here tonight at New Smyrna. Battle for second place going to be right at the line. Dante Curtis will take home second, and third will go to Nichols.
What a finish back there. We kept it on Gary Eschen, but the battle for that number 2 spot was something. The margin there, 0.3 seconds there, Kelly, between Dante Curtis and Randy Nichols, as those will be your top 3 cars here this afternoon. You see Brian come up and give a congratulatory rev of the engine as Gary Eschen gonna pick up his first win of the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series here this afternoon. And as they get ready, we will step away. We'll come right back with our ZooFab Garage post-race show.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back here to the new Smyrna Speedway, where tonight's race just came to an end. We thank you for tuning on in as we head into our ZooFab Garage post-race show here for the Street Stock Series. And Kelly has made his way down on to Victory Lane, where he sits with a very ecstatic and 7th different winner here at New Smyrna, Mr. Gary Eschen.
Yeah, caught up now with our race winner, Gary Eschen. And Gary, it was not an easy race for you as a few cautions came out towards the end there. I mean, what kind of went through your mind each time you saw the yellow?
Not broadcast appropriate language, I guess. Yeah, I definitely didn't want to see those. But I mean, all race, even later in the run before we even made pit stops, like car was hooked up tonight, and we went with some good settings, I think. So everything worked out, and hey, we'll take one.
Well, definitely a hard-fought race here tonight. I mean, each time coming to the line, there was different strategies for the choose cone. I mean, what lane did you kind of find was a bit more strong here towards the end of this race?
Well, me and the teammates were talking, Dante and Dustin there, and I felt like I needed to go high just to get the better run coming off of 2 and into 1, of course. But luckily, my teammates were able to hold those guys behind because they were on fresher hoops coming, and yeah.
Well, next week we are going to be going on to Hickory, and what are you feeling about your chances there at that track?
As long as we can keep the bumper clean. Last 2 races have been unfortunate. We were fast both races and got knocked us out of the top 10 in points, but hopefully after tonight, we can jump a couple spots back up. And like Hickory, I feel good about it. I usually run fairly well there, so hopefully I'll be in the same position next week.
All right, well, Gary, great job here tonight. Good win, but who would you like to thank for your run here tonight before we let you go?
I'd like to thank my sponsors. We got Roscoe Glass, The Mill, Rookies Pub, we got JRS, and of course Baby J Motorsports, and DCD, and all my teammates. And you guys for putting on a great broadcast every week. I enjoy going back and watching them, whether I do good or bad. So yeah, you guys, and then all the admins in the league that put this together for us, because it's one of the better leagues out there.
Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy watching this one later tonight, but we'll let you go, let you maybe start catching up on that, and have a good night, and hopefully we'll hear from you again next week, Gary.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
That is Gary Eschen, driver, the number 23, our winner here tonight at New Smyrna. And now I'm going to send it to Al, who I believe is caught up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, we're down here, and well, the driver set the Dual-Wiser Fast Time Award earlier here this afternoon. Fell back, worked his way back up, and had a spirited battle here in this green-white checkered. Dante, another fast race car here, going to come home in at number 2 spot. But what a wild race, a long green flag run. We saw green flag pit stops, and then we had a few short yellows and a short run here, and then a great battle at the end. Talk us through your race and your thoughts.
Yeah, we fell back a little early there. I expected the top to be a little better on the restart there. I couldn't roll it good, and then midway through that race, we got on that long green flag run, which, I mean, that's all you can ask for is just green flag laps, and you could really figure out where to be at on the racetrack. Stuff was sliding around in other places, so I mean, it was a lot of fun. We definitely needed that yellow because I think we had the wrong strategy there. We put way too much gas in it compared to everybody else, so we lost a lot of track position, but the way the yellows came there at the end, it really worked out for us.
The track looked very tricky out there tonight. A lot of marbles up on the outside. Was it one of those cases where it was more line sensitive than normal just due to the amount of tire wear? The marbles up there, you get up in there, it's like driving on ice, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot easier to lose time at a whole bunch of time at once. I mean, it was track widened out, and I mean, a little bit there towards the middle, and just was able to kind of, I don't know, the bottom was just really good. I've never seen it really be that good here compared to the top. So, I mean, just something to do with the hot track, and maybe we'll put that in a notebook and save that for later.
Well, always good to always be learning. You're going to come home with that number 2 spot. Next week, we head back to your home state as the series rolls up to Hickory. What's the outlook out there? What can we expect out of the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series headed to Hickory?
Yeah, I hope we have a good show, and that race is going to mean a lot, especially with all that's been going on recently. Hopefully, we can be back up towards the front again. We ain't got no EOL this week, so hopefully we'll be good.
Well, congratulations here on your second place finish tonight, Dante. We know you got a lot of people to thank the behind the scenes that make it all possible to get you to and from each and every race, and we'll roll the red carpet out, let you thank them.
Yeah, I got to give it up to all the guys at the NSRL for giving us a good place to race. This is awesome every Monday night. You guys for a good broadcast once again. Awesome to have y'all. Give it up to all the guys at DCD Racing. Congrats to Gary on finally getting him a win. It's been a while, so glad to see him back in victory lane, and hopefully we'll get us another one next week.
Congratulations, Dante. Thank you for your time, buddy. Enjoy this one, and stay safe. We know your neck of the woods down there getting ravaged and whatnot, so hopefully everything's good and safe, and same with all your family and all that stuff, and we look forward to talking to you in 1 week's time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's Dante Curtis, driver of the number 03, and Kelly going to come home in that number 2 spot, and I think you found out with, well, by my calculation, one of the hardest charger of the race. Didn't quite get that, just missed out a few spots, but Mr. Randy Nichols.
Yeah, catching up now with Randy Nichols. Randy, you had to make a full-on charge through the entire field, especially with those last few laps. I mean, what was it like making all those passes here tonight?
I know I probably pissed some people off with my driving, but I just I'm on that Rush Chastain World Tour, I guess.
Well, there is a last-minute pit call, it seemed, there in the last caution, or not the last caution, but a caution that we had back on lap 93. I mean, what was the thought process behind that pit call?
I mean, I knew I kind of pitted way earlier than everybody else, and I mean, I was probably half a second down on everyone that had pretty much just pitted for new tires. So once I got on the lead lap and like everybody cycled through, I was just kind of hoping for a caution. So I knew I was going to come take tires because the right sides were pretty much cooked at that point. So yeah, just kind of got lucky and just knew that as soon as the caution came out, I was coming down pit road.
Well, other than maybe a few angry drivers out there, what are you expecting to see in Hickory in next week?
Probably about the same. I mean, it's a very tight track. The way the lines are, you kind of have to enter, 1 and 3 kind of high, swing it down low. Sometimes clipping the apron really helps. So I think it's going to be a little bit more chaotic than this one. I think it helped with it just being a half mile. There's a lot of track out here with Hickory. It's bumpy and real tight.
Well, before we let you go, Randy, who would you like to thank for your third place run tonight?
I just, want to thank all my buddies that I race with, and just thank everyone for watching.
All right, well, thank you for coming out and talking to us, Randy. We'll let you go and start your apology tour, see if you can maybe smooth things over for Hickory, but hopefully we'll hear from you again next week.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
All right, that is Randy Nichols, driver of the number 69 car, and like Al mentioned, one of our hardest chargers here tonight. Started all the way back in P20, ended up in third to round out our podium, but now I'm going to send it back to Al for a few closing thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, and a great night of racing for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series, round number 4 in the books, round number 5 in 1 week's time up at the Hickory Motor Speedway, and we know that we have a lot of our friends and racers that are not with us here tonight because they have dealing with all the Hurricane Helene rain and stuff like that. So please stay safe out there. Keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. We hope to see them back on the racetrack, and especially if they have family or whatever. It's just a terrible situation that's down there, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. But what a great night of racing, Kelly. This one, I wasn't really sure what to expect. We saw the fuel strategy. It was kind of interesting in that long green flag run. Then we got that short track beating and banging that we've come to know and love with these street stocks here for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series. And I'm really looking forward to Hickory. That track is going to put on a good show. Another track they can run 2 and possibly even 3 wide on. Hickory, one of the newer tracks on the circuits here. Really looking forward to that one. But it was a great night of racing. As you look at the results from tonight's feature event, rolling up here on the screen, you can see where your favorite driver finished here inside the top 18. Gary Eschen becoming the 7th different winner. And Kelly, he marks our 5th different winner of the season.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has repeated yet, but one driver that has consistently been up towards the front, and that's been Dante Curtis, who is, I believe, going to be continuing to hold on to our points lead right now. We'll have to see if I can maybe find an updated standings later on, but it is going to be definitely tough for these guys to catch him now, as he's been consistently up front, consistently running fast. So I think the name of the game for a few of these other drivers for the rest of the season is try to figure out a way to beat Dante Curtis, and maybe even hope for him to have a couple races of bad luck to close things up a little.
Dante Curtis, one of those tough competitors. I've ran out on the racetrack over on and off and part-time for the last 3 or 4 seasons with the North-South Racing League, and being up in the booth with you is a lot of fun, Kelly, but these guys make the street stocks look like so much fun, but really happy to be up here. We look at where your favorite drivers finished here this afternoon. 29 drivers signing in, and we had I believe it was just 3 yellow flags here over 125 laps. 15 cars finishing on the lead lap. Well, that will do it for us here tonight from New Smyrna Speedway. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast, where Gary Eschen went to victory lane here this afternoon for the North-South Racing League. He'll have to start shotgun next week at Hickory. We'll see how that turns out in 1 week's time. But for Kelly Dahl, I am Upstate Al. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts. And we'll see you in turn number 3. Good night, everybody.